Roman Reigns is expected to return to WWE very soon. This according to a new report that outlines when we could expect Roman to return around. We're going to talk about what that means, what new reporting about WWE's next big show means for this return, and also we're going to talk about AEW and some talent that have departed the company in recent months that we are just learning about right now. All that and much more coming up in this video, so be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Let's first talk about the news about Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns has not been seen on WWE TV ever since WrestleMania 40, where he dropped the WWE Championship to the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Ever since then, we've been wondering, when is Roman going to return? The chants for "we want Roman" are getting louder and louder, and it seems likely that when he does return, he will be WWE's biggest babyface, maybe with the exception to Cody Rhodes. So, with all that being in mind, PWN has reported that Roman Reigns is expected to return to WWE around SummerSlam. Now, I want to caution everyone, take this with a grain of salt. PWN is a relatively newcomer to this game of news reporting, but I think that because a lot of people are talking about it, it is at least a good talking point to go off of. Not trying to disparage them, but just trying to mitigate expectations as much as possible. But the idea of Roman returning at SummerSlam is one that many people have speculated and thought to be the logical conclusion for a very long time. I mean, like I said before, as Solo Sikoa continues to take over the bloodline in this story, the chance and the desire from the fans to want Roman Reigns to come back and reclaim his seat at the head of the table are only going to get louder. And you even have like young kids. Like I went to Madison Square Garden, right? I was sitting around like a section that had like an entire I don't know whether it was a field trip or what, but like it was a bunch of kids, and they were all like chanting, "We want Roman!" Like they want this guy, and a lot of everyone else does too. So I think that when Roman does come back, and SummerSlam I think is the logical conclusion, because the match reportedly for SummerSlam is going to be Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. So if you have that bloodline tie-in of Cody Rhodes and Solo, you want to bring back Roman as one of the biggest baby faces possible. Well, let's say that Solo loses to Cody Rhodes, and afterwards that he starts to do a beatdown. Roman Reigns comes in as the equalizer and does that face turn because now he saved the other biggest baby face in the company. And I think we are finally going to see a proper Roman Reigns babyface run, and it is going to be awesome, because we're not going to get suffer and succotash. I think we're going to get badass, awesome Roman Reigns, like very similar to the Tribal Chief in some ways, but I think less of a narcissist for sure. And this kind of goes into another report via WrestleVotes that we're going to talk about. WWE had significant discussions about bringing the 2024 Survivor Series to Los Angeles at the brand new Intuit Dome on Saturday, November 30th. The Intuit Dome, located across SoFi Stadium, will officially open on August 15th with a Bruno Mars concert. Shout out to Bruno Mars. Today I don't feel like doing anything. Anyway, the reason why this is important and like why I kind of tie this into the Roman Reigns return is because we've seen over the past few years that Survivor Series has kind of turned into a War Games pay-per-view. And usually in War Games, you have like one team versus another. Or in Survivor Series, you have one team versus another. Whatever they want to end up doing, they can do. But that aspect to it, I think, lends to the idea of us seeing this bloodline civil war play out at Survivor Series. And it's also worth noting, for those of you who are wondering, WWE recently released their schedule for the rest of the year for TV. And it's worth noting that date, November 30th, and then November 29th, which is when they would usually have a SmackDown, those are the only two dates missing from the calendar. as far as TV goes. And then that November 29th SmackDown is like very conspicuously not there. I think it makes sense that Los Angeles would be the location because they're going to be in Phoenix and Utah and the other shows right in between that. So it's likely going to be a West Coast pay-per-view for those of y'all who are wondering. And if it's LA, if it's the Intuit Dome, this is a brand new arena. It's in Inglewood, California, and a place where Los Angeles has invested a lot of money to revitalize. And anyway, but it's going to be where the Clippers play. It's a brand new facility, brand new arena, brand new vibe. And I think WWE, they want to do that. Like for every MSG show, they're going to be at Barclays. For every, Staples Center show, they're going to be at Intuit a lot more, I think. So I would see this as, their attempt to kind of get in the news, like first big WWE show at Intuit, and look, that's where the people are. That's where you want to go. And that's why I think, like, especially with the Los Angeles tie-in, could be perfect to bring back The Rock. And I think you do this beforehand. I think you have The Rock come in beforehand, lead the team of the new bloodline. And at this point, I think Solo is probably going to be kicked out. For more information on that, go to youtube.com/WrestleVibes for my fantasy booking video. But I think by this point, Solo is going to be kicked out, and we are going to see the original bloodline versus this new bloodline, all led by The Rock. And you want to sell out the Intuit Dome. You want to make a big splash, your first big pay-per-view in this brand new state-of-the-art facility. I think that's how you do it. And we'll see what happens, though, because there certainly is a lot that's going to happen in between now and November, because they first officially have to actually announce what the hell they're doing as far as that goes. But let me know in the comments section what you think is going to happen. Could we see Roman by SummerSlam? Who would you want to see him face right off the bat, and why is it Solo? Let me know in the comments as we move on to our next and final topics. Let's get into some AEW news. So this was interesting. We have multiple AEW talent that have left the company in recent months that we're just learning about now. First, let's start with CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana in WWE. She said to USA Today, my time with them has just finished. I'm really focused on finding talent, cultivating them, and helping them become the best wrestler champion possible. I guess you could say I want to be Paul Heyman, of course, hinting towards the fact that, she feels like she's going to be ready to be a manager at some point very soon. It was weird because CJ Perry kind of came in to AEW back at All Out September of last year, and big fanfare, big speculation. Oh my God, she's coming back with Miro, and this is going to be a thing again, and maybe this is what Miro needs to kind of get things back on track, because he's had a bit of a stop and start kind of run in AEW. Like, he hasn't, outside of that first run where he had the TNT Championship, he hasn't really done anything of significance, at least. And then that story played out the way it did. She obviously got an infection on her hand that was pretty bad at one point. And then Andrade left, who she was managing, and we thought we were going to get them back together, but then we learned, of course, the thing that happened in their personal life that I'm not going to get into. It's crazy. Look, it's also worth noting that, for those of you who are wondering, it was reported that she was actually involved in that April set of releases. We all remember that, very infamous set of releases that AEW did. They were chastised for right around WrestleMania season. So I do believe that, whatever she does, I think she's going to get a great offer, potentially coming back to WWE. We know there's some potential tie-in there if they want to go down that route, but we'll see. I do think CJ is one of those people where she has enough credibility as a manager that she can make almost anything work. But I think the issue, and one of the big issues with some of these signings that AEW has had, like in WWE, has been consistency. It's that, okay, we know this person is capable of being a massive impact on the show, but they're not on the show. And they're not on it enough to warrant us, investing our time and energy into rooting for them or fantasy booking or whatever the fun stuff is that gets you excited about wrestling. I think that's definitely an issue both of the big companies have. at this point. So we'll see what happens, though. I could see CJ popping up very soon, though, somewhere else. But let me know what you guys think as we talk about the next pretty huge name that has departed from AEW. This is about Ric Flair. So here's what Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter had to say, quote, "Those who have pointed out no woo energy graphics on the screen as of late. That is a smart observation, and unless something changes, it doesn't look like you'll be seeing that going forward. There was no explanation given, but unless something changes, it does look like that deal is over with." Again, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer News, or radio, I should say. This is an interesting one because originally when this deal was announced in the press release, they had said that this was a multi-year partnership. It, of course, involved them having Woo Energy at the announce table, Woo Energy on the graphics, your Woo Energy sponsored match, all that kind of stuff. And we even saw Ric Flair come in, and he did like a run in AEW, for whatever you want to call it, but it was a run. Like, he came in for Sting's last few months. He was a part of Sting's final match with the Young Bucks, and, you know, they made a big deal about it, but it just ended up being the case that he never came back, and I don't think there were any plans for him to come back. I think many fans like myself were rightfully chastising the AEW's decision of bringing in Flair in the first place, but I don't see him fitting into the show moving forward, so I don't see why he would be there. I think that was kind of a one-off, and maybe it was a part of this deal, but the fact that this deal seems to be over, we have not, again, we were seeing Woo Energy consistently for a minute there on AEW TV, and then it just went away. And that is a sign that the partnership is probably over. I think, like, if they're not advertising it for over a month, that is what it is. It's probably over. Like, sometimes you have like a week or two here and there where that's the case, but the way these deals work, if it's like over a month, it's like, okay, something's happened. And the something is likely that Ric Flair and AEW are probably done. This partnership with Woo Energy is done. And we'll see what happens. Maybe it comes back. Maybe they make a new agreement or whatever on and don't really announce it. But they did say it was a multi-year deal, and we haven't really seen it, and we're only a few months into it. So it is what it is. Don't expect to see Woo Energy on your TV screens anytime soon, but you can expect to see me here every single day, basically, talking about professional wrestling news, WWE, AEW, hell, we'll even fit in some New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah, all that kind of stuff in there as well when we can. So be sure, do me a favor, let me know what you guys think of this video in the comment section below. Let me know who you want to see return to WWE, who you want to see return to AEW. Also, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.